Hey YouTube, we're going to do another Emerson video today, but what I want to do today is, instead of review a knife, I wanted to talk about a few misconceptions about Emersons that I see on YouTube and I read about on some of the forums. A lot of people talk about how they have difficulty deploying their waved knives without waving the knife itself, without in other words, pulling the knife out and still having it be closed, like they always have it either half open or something like that. So I want to talk about that, and in fact I'll do that little demonstration right now. Hey YouTube, I want to do a little video talking about some people have difficulty pulling out their waved knife without waving it. So when I have my Emerson in my pocket, it always sits at the back of the end of the pocket in case I wanted to wave it. But for some reason I don't want to wave it. What I do is I'll pull it out and adjust my wrist like that so that it comes out unwaved. Now, to see what I'm doing, I'll have it outside the pocket like this, and as I pull it out, I kind of cock my wrist like this so that the wave feature doesn't come into contact with the back of my jean pocket. Now, when I do want to wave it, I pull it out and I will actually cock my wrist the opposite way so that it comes out at this angle. So again, if I did not want to wave it, I would just twist my wrist like that and deploy it normally. Or if I wanted to wave it, not like that, I would pull my wrist forward like this. So I hope that helps you guys. Okay, so now that that's done, there's something else that I hear and see a lot about, is that people claim that they cannot flick their Emerson open. And what I get that to understand that to mean is that they can't just use their thumb to open their knife. They have to like use their wrist to get it open. And so I'll show you that you can flick all of my Emersons open. I have 7 Emersons, but I'm only showing you 3 right now. So here's the Mini 7, which well, I'm having difficulty with this camera angle. That's embarrassing. Okay. So no wrist movement, and I can get the blade open. Here's a full-size 7. And an SOC-FK. Now, I will grant it, or I'll say that these aren't the fastest knives to get open with using just flicking it, but it can be done, and a lot of people have difficulty with it. And so I will tell you how I set up all my Emersons as soon as I get them new in the box, or I buy them used or whatever. I set them all up the same way. The first thing I do is I get a flathead screwdriver and I adjust the pivot so that the blade is perfectly centered in the between the two liners, between the non-locking liner and the locking liner. And then what I do is I back off the pivot just a hair so that it is barely in this case it would be barely right of center, which this camera isn't very good, so you probably can't tell. But I align it so that it is just right of center, ever so slightly, so that it's nice and loose. And then I'll use the blue Loctite and make sure that the pivot doesn't move. And then what I do is I lubricate it. Now, the Emersons are tools, and everything with moving parts needs lubrication. So what I will do is I'll take 1 drop of, I think I'm using 3-in-1 oil right now. It just happens to be what is in the garage. And I place 1 drop of oil on each side of the blade so that it gets soaked into the washers. Emerson uses a type of material called nylitron for their washers. And from everything I've read, these washers are they're like sponges. They just soak up the oil, and then they will disperse it however long the oil lasts. So eventually you'll need to relubricate it. But I found that once you get it set up just right, they flick open fairly easily. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask me. And I think everybody should be able to flick their Emersons, and as well as wave them and not wave them whenever they so desire. So again, any questions or comments, let me know. And as always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. Have a good one, guys.